If you think about all the performers that you go and see, all the bands, all the groups, anybody who's on the TV, any public speakers, all the politicians, anyone who gives public speeches, they all feel nervous and anxious before they get up to speak. That's just normal, that's natural. If you didn't feel that, you probably wouldn't be normal. So everybody feels that wee bit of anxiety before they get up to speak in front of a large crowd of people. So just accept that that's normal, and then we'll move on from there, okay? So what do you think you can do about it? What can you do to try and lessen those nerves, to try and help you overcome those nerves and get up and give a really good presentation or a good pitch? There's one word, and it's practice. That's what you can do. You can practice. I've had a lot of practice at doing this. I have never spoken to in a hall as big as this or to a group as big as this before. So that's daunting for me. But now I'm getting the chance to practice today, and that's what I want you all to do, because you're going to get the chance to practice after the session. So one of the things you can do is ask your friends to listen to you. So if you have something to say an interview for a job or to go and speak publicly, if you practice and you get someone to listen to you, a colleague or a friend or a member of the family, then that will help because they will tell you what you could do better. And that will help you to get better. Okay, so the welcome, we've already done this, and thank you very much for the invitation. As Gabriel said, I work in Danske Bank in Donegal Square West. Get my wee plug in for my company. I've come down from Belfast this morning because I was asked to by Yvonne McGackie, and I'm always happy to help, and I hope that you get something from it. We're going to talk about overcoming your nerves, how you can do that. So if you'd be nervous standing up here, what can you do to try and control that? You'll never get rid of those nerves, and even probably some of the lecturers that are here this morning, if I ask them to come up and stand up here, maybe they'd be a wee bit nervous as well. So you're never going to get rid of that, but what you can do is control it. We're going to look at the impact with your audience, because you want to stand out. The same as, again, going to a job interview. You want the people to remember you, because you have to make sure that you stand out from the crowd. So practice and prepare. It's really important. Rather than the movement, because that's what I said earlier about practicing. Preparation is really important. How do you feel when you go along to an exam and you haven't done any preparation? I can tell just by looking at you're really serious studiers in this room. So if you go along to an exam and you haven't done any study or any revision, do you think you're going to do well? Probably not. You have to put in some preparation, don't you? So word presentation skills or pitch, preparation is about yourself. It's about preparing yourself, even getting into that right mental space that we talked about and the self-talk. It's about making sure that even some of the practical things about where you're going, if you're going to do a presentation somewhere else, knowing what you're going to say, writing out what you're going to say, having your notes, as I have. I'm not smart enough to remember it all, having your notes with you, making sure that you allow time to get set up in the system and computerized. And then when you actually stand to do your pitch, it's just take a deep breath and go for it. And if you've done the preparation, actually that will help your nerves then to settle. And what happens quite often is you feel nervous at the start, but then you get more confident as you go through that actual presentation or pitch. And I don't know if any of you have ever been for a job interview. I do some interviewing because I work in HR. And what I find is people like yourselves come along to a job interview, they're really nervous at the start, but then they kind of get calm and get into it, and that all sort of settles down. So that's okay, be nervous at the start. What will happen will be that you'll get into the presentation or the interview or whatever as you go through. It's really important to smile, because smiling actually helps people smile with you and actually gives you that engagement with the people that you're speaking to. So if you go up and give a presentation or a pitch and you're really solemn and you don't smile at all during the time, then people are really in your personality almost and saying the person is really solemn and they're not really believing in what they say. So it's important to be confident by rehearsing, and that leads us into practice. So preparation and practice are vital. And if you're well prepared and you're well practiced, I've got some feedback from some of your friends who have said, that bit's really good, that bit was a bit long, use some different words for that bit, then that will help you to feel prepared because you practice and you've got some friends, some help from your friends or your colleagues. So practice in front of your friends, maybe your teachers or your lecturers. What's the correct terminology? Lecturer, is it? Teachers is a bit younger. So maybe your family, somebody, a dog even. Use whoever's there, yours available. You're not getting much feedback from the dog probably. Unless we talk dogs down here for Mama, have we? I know they don't have them. But trust somebody that you trust will actually be honest with you and give you some feedback and tell you what are the really good bits and what do I need to do better to actually make an impact here. Okay, have confidence. It's probably a bit easier to say than it is to do, isn't it? Because a lot of people wouldn't be confident standing up here and giving a presentation. So I'm going to go to my next groups. Keep your right word on this group will have this. So this group and this group, I want you to tell me, better I'll use the notes. I want you to tell me what are the three most important letters in the word confident. Anybody know? Take a guess. There's three letters in the word confident that are really important, that will actually help you to be confident if you remember this technique. Any ideas from the two selected groups? No? What about here? No? Anybody else then? Open to the floor. Anybody else think what are the three most important words in the word confident, or letters in the word confident, sorry? Well, yes, it could be, as Roy Walker would say, it's good, but it's not right. What else? No? C-O-N. Why is it C-O-N? Yeah, what does it spell on its own? Con. It's a con. So you stand up and you look confident. People see you looking confident and relaxed and practiced and prepared. It's a con. You might necessarily feel like that underneath. Because what happens quite often when you're nervous? What happens to your tummy? Physically, what happens? Your tummy's churning, isn't it? You're nervous. You're maybe anxious. Your hands are shaking. But don't let them see that. They can't see what's going on in your tummy. And you can calm people into believing that you are confident and you are not nervous. Okay? So remember the three most important letters in the word confident. C-O-N. So if you look confident and you come across as confident, the audience and people listening to you have no reason to believe that you're not. So all you have to do is control that. And what will help you to be confident and look confident? We've already talked about it, the two words beginning with P. Practice and preparation. So remember that, the word calm and the two letters beginning with P. Okay, next I want to show you this picture. Yep, and this one is actually for we'll just ask the lecturers, so they're all very comfortable there, aren't they? Now let's see if the very smart lecturers can get this one right. And then if we can't, we'll let you guys catch them out, okay? So why have I got a picture of a swan on the presentation? Any ideas? Linda or
Why you got the swan up there?
Yourself? Yes, that's a good one, yeah. That's an extra one, as I say, it's good, but it's not right. We're not going to look for anybody else. Where's the yes? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well done. What college are you from then? Dungannon, and you're over there, right answer. The swan, if you look at a swan, it's probably about the most serene thing you could ever see. It's calm. And I was sure somebody was going to say because we're in the lakes down here, but nobody said that. It's calm and it's going along very calmly and smooth. What's happening underneath the water? The legs are going like this. And that's like you when you appear confident and calm and relaxed. You're standing up and you're projecting that image, but underneath, you know, your tummy, your nerves could be going and your tummy could be feeling a bit anxious. But you don't have to show that because you project the image. If you think about this one, that describes perfectly how you can give that impression of being calm, relaxed, and you're really just feeling it
How do you make an impact with your audience?
What do you need to do? So, have you ever heard of a saying, first impressions count? You never get a second chance to make a first impression. I'm sure you've heard that. And that's really important because if you have a very short time to make an impression on a group of people or on a panel, then that's the time that you have a very short window to actually use that time to make a first impression. So what do you think is important to try and make a first impression? A really good first impression. What do you think is made up of? Walk into your room. What are people looking at? Yes, it's how you look. And you're, sorry, yeah? So it's how you look, appearance, what they're looking at. What else is it? What are you listening? Yeah, it's your body language, yeah. What else? What are you listening to today? How you sound, isn't it? The voice. It's how you sound, it's how you look, your appearance, how you sound. So the tone of your voice, the volume of your voice. Sometimes it could be the accent. It could be the enthusiasm that you put into your voice. And it's how you look, it's your appearance. People remember your appearance. It's your posturing, things like your posture. It's your expressions and your body language. And it's also, of course, what you say. But we talk about first impressions being the first few seconds or minutes that you meet someone. And it's made up of visually, yes, your body language, how you look, your appearance, the tone of your voice, so how you come across, because people will remember that, and the words that you say. Okay, so I'm going to my fourth group now. We're on this table here. Bigger table. This table. I want you to think about, if you have body language, tone of voice, and words, which do you think is the most important? So we're talking about visually, vocally, and then the actual words that come out of your mouth. If you had to put those in percentages, 100% being the total, which one would you think would be the most important? Now this is on very first impression, so whenever you meet someone, so you can talk amongst yourselves and decide what you think you should say. Body language, this team's going for body language. What about over here? Body language, you agree? Okay. And what percentage? So would that be the biggest percentage? What would you say? 90%? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you the statistics. Those are the statistics. 55% will be based on your body language. So the way that you hold yourself, the expressions, the gestures. 38% will be the tone of your voice. Only 7% will be the words. So what does that tell you whenever you walk into an interview situation or a presentation situation when you've got a very short space of time to make an impression? What's important? It's visually how you look and the way that you present yourself, because your body language can send out signals, even unintentionally, from yourself. It has been proven that the world's best communicators have strong body language. So if you think of the likes of anyone who is a world leader, like Barack Obama, for example, these guys have coaches in body language. Even the likes of Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy has someone who coaches him on the appropriate body language and what's going on up in his head to actually win. So these guys get coached, and that shows you how important it is to give out the right signals with your body language. So, your audience is reading your body language as well as listening to what you say. So you might be doing it just without even thinking about it, but that's what you're doing. That's what they're doing. They're looking to see, what is this person telling me before they open their mouth. So, let's just break it down a wee bit into get in a chair and you slouch and you look very relaxed and very at ease. And that can send a message that you're not actually interested. Now that might not be your intention, but that's what the audience or the panel or the interview panel are reading, because you're just slouching in the chair, you've got your arms folded, and people think, well, they obviously don't want to be here. Have you ever had situations like that? Have you gone into coffee shops and be served by someone who's kind of walking up to you and slouching and looks as if they can't be there? Maybe they've had a hard night the night before, but they actually think to themselves, I really don't want to be here. But you know that by their body language, but they don't need to tell you, but you can read their body language, and even then they'll say, oh, what's your order? So you know that that person doesn't want to be there. So the message they're sending to you is obvious, even though they haven't told you. So that's what people are looking at when they look at you. They're looking at your body language. They want to see confident, believable, enthusiastic. And if you don't have the body language that matches that, then your first impression is lost. That opportunity is lost. So think about that. So stand tall with your shoulders back. Sometimes you have to keep correcting yourself because you do forget about your posture sometimes. But if you're presenting, you have to stand tall with your shoulders back so that you send the right signal. What else is important? We talk about body language. What else is really, really important when you're communicating or talking to someone, making a pitch, making a presentation, even just having an ordinary conversation? What else is really important? Eye contact, exactly. Making eye contact with someone is really, really important, because that's what you do to engage with another person. So I tried this morning to walk around and make eye contact with as many people as possible, because that starts off the engagement with other people. So think about the eye contact and try and do that. So I want to end with what groups are allowed. I'm just going to practice this for a minute. I want to volunteer from each group. And you're just going to do it within your own group. So am I down here now? Or are you going to guess I'm down here, am I? So I want somebody within this group just to try standing up and making eye contact with each member of their group. Who would like to do it? Who would like to help me?
David, would you like to do that?
Well, wait. You don't want to do it? Well, can you make eye contact with me? I don't know why you would. Are these all your friends?
Yeah.
You're doing it all the time anyway. Do you feel a bit silly? Okay. What about this group?
See, there's overflow.
You guys have what's your friend? All right, okay. So make eye contact with everybody. The way I do. So if I have a group of 12 people, and it's really to me, I consciously make eye contact with every single one. It's very hard to do with so many of you, but I consciously make eye contact with every single person. Because that person won't engage and interact with me unless I make eye contact with them. That is crucial to the connection between you and your audience. So strong and effective body language to establish an immediate rapport with your audience. It's very difficult if a performer's on a stage and it's a large audience for them to do that, but what you'll see is them making eye contact with people in the front row, or they'll look up to the balcony, or they'll look down to this corner. They will try and cover as much as possible the whole audience, because that brings people in and that helps you to interact with people. So I mentioned rapport. Would anybody like to tell me what rapport is? What is it? What does that mean, rapport? Yeah, the connection. That's a great way to describe it. It's a connection. And if you can get the rapport right, then you're on the right track. If you can get good rapport right from that beginning, right from that interaction, then you're on the right track. If you don't get that rapport, and that's what the eye contact helps you to do, then it'll be very difficult for you to get a successful outcome from whatever that is, whether it's an interview or pitch or a presentation. Okay, it is harder when you have larger groups, but it's really important to try. Okay, so let's think about now your voice. Talk about body language, and we know that it's most important, of course, in the initial first 2 minutes. After that, if you have a 10-minute presentation, then obviously people are then, after the first 2 minutes, are shifting more towards what you're actually saying. simple. As I mentioned, I'm not used to such a large crowd, but I have to make sure that everyone at the back can hear me. So what will happen if the people at the back can't hear what I'm saying? They won't be able to sit, and they'll probably start talking amongst themselves and they'll switch off. So it's important that you make sure, if you're in a large room, I don't know what's ahead there, what's going to involve, but if you're in a large room, you need to make sure that people at the back can hear you. Either get someone to stand at the back or make sure you speak to the people at the back and ask them to tell you if they can't hear you. Another technique is to actually look to, just beyond something that's just the furthest away from the furthest person in the room. Say that again. So if I'm pitching, not as far as the clock, if you see what that is, I don't have to pitch my voice to there, but I have to pitch my voice to the tripod. Okay? So something, an object that is just behind the furthest away person in the room. If you focus on that and you think about how far your voice has to project, that will help you make sure that the people at the back can actually hear you. What about speed? How important is the speed that you speak at when you're giving a presentation or making a pitch? What will happen if you speak too quickly? Yeah. What will happen if you speak too slowly? Too boring. People think, come on, get on with it. Okay, so what you can do is think about the speed. Whenever you're giving a presentation, you should aim to speak slightly slower than what you would do in normal conversation. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do today. If I was having a conversation, and Glenn and I had a great conversation, we were chatting about 50 to the dozen before we came in. But I couldn't do that today because that's not appropriate for you listening and trying to take in what it is that I'm saying. So try and speak slightly slower than you would in a normal conversation. Okay? What you have to remember is, people tell me all the time that I speak too quickly, and I probably do. But the way to control that is to think about pausing. So if you think that you speak quite quickly, and you don't want that to spoil your presentation, then every now and again, just pause for a few seconds, and that kind of allows your audience to catch up. So that's a wee technique. You need to try and control the speed that you're speaking at. If you feel it's very difficult to do that, then just pause every now and again to let people actually catch up with it and for effect. Because if you make a statement, then if you pause, that adds a great effect to the statement that you've just made. And you see that all the time in communications. Even on the news, if there's a headline, you'll hear the headline being announced. You know, massive earthquake in Southern Africa. And then there'll be a pause, and then they'll tell you the rest of the news. So that's what actually helps you as well. So we've talked about volume, we've talked about speed. The one thing to remember about speed is, if you feel that you're going too quickly, don't try and control it too much, because the speed in your delivery can actually emphasize the passion that you have about the topic you're talking about. And that again is important. So you can actually inject the energy and enthusiasm into your pitch with the speed of your voice, the speed that you're going at. But remember the pause to try and control that. So, the pitch. What do I mean by pitch? Pitch of your voice. Anybody want to make a stab at that? What's it mean?
Tone.
The tone, yeah. It's the up and down. It's the emphasis, really. The easiest way for me to understand it is the emphasis that you put in your voice. So you might raise the level of your voice, you might lower the level of your voice. The important thing is to think about, well, what words do you want to emphasize? And that's where you then raise the pitch of your voice. And guess what? Okay, so again, we're looking for volunteers. Where am I down to? Have I covered every group? Yes? Yes? Nobody, I don't want anybody to feel left out now. This is I want everybody to feel included and to give it and have a go. So we'll go back to this group. And you can do this just within your own group, okay? I want you to think about, one of you can either volunteer or if you want to have a go. I want you to think about this statement, okay? And the statement, I want you to think about reading that statement. And think about the tone or the pitch of your voice. What are the key words you think that you would want to emphasize? Have I explained that well enough for you, okay? Right, I'm going to get this out to a couple of groups, okay? I want you to first of all, somebody lift it and read it out. And I want you to think about the way that you would read this. And then I'm going to ask somebody to be really brave and stand up and do it. Okay? So have a look at that first of all. And then what I want you to do is just look at the words in red. Think about, actually, if you were reading that in the news, or if you had to make an announcement, what are the words that you would emphasise? What is the word that's important in that and that will actually deliver some enthusiasm and passion?
Good morning.
Yes? Yes. Do that.
Good morning. My name is Elaine, and today I want to tell you about the exciting news project which I have been working on in my school.
That's fantastic. You see the way that wasn't all the one tone. You talk about monotone. That wasn't all the one tone. That was actually delivering a message that people would actually get excited about. Do you want to have a go, girls? Come on, you're well capable of this. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is.
You got that on camera?
This will all be edited.
YouTube. You better do it right.
Good morning. My name is Sarah, and today I want to tell you about an exciting new project which I've been working on in my school.
Yeah, well done. Now you're the best. Rachel.
I'd really loud there now for my hair.
Good morning, my name is Rachel, and today I want to tell you about an exciting new project which I have been working on in my school.
Yeah, really good. So you can hear you have to inject the enthusiasm. You have to try and let people know that you're excited about this project. Because if you're telling, I'll let somebody out here. If you're telling someone about a project and you want them to be excited about it, you have to be excited about it. And this is your opportunity to let them know that you are. Okay, what's your name? Hannah. I have a niece called Hannah. Yeah. Right, so read it out.
Good morning. My name is Hannah, and today I want to tell you about an exciting project which I
Yeah, that was good. A wee bit slower than that. I'm just going to do a summary really of what we've talked about already this morning. And what the opportunity to read out if you like, is just to give you the opportunity to try it. And, in your groups, you heard the difference that it would make when you really put your heart into it and you can emphasise the words. And you were all really, really good. So thank you to the people who volunteered, or maybe were volunteered by their peers, to do that out. And I don't want to embarrass or put anybody under pressure, but sometimes it's good to just seize the moment and take the opportunity and step out of your comfort zone, because what you want to do is try and do that whenever you have your chance to practice during lunch break and after lunch. Okay? So, summary of me, do some notes if you like, presentation skills. And again, I have this in the workbook for you, which I'll hand you out. You can take away and refer to during the exercise for the after lunch. Okay, so it's important to smile. We've plenty of smiles here this morning, so I want to see those for the exercise we're going to do afterwards when you get the chance to practice. And smiling really helps to engage with people. And it's very hard to create rapport between yourself and someone else if you don't smile. And if you keep smiling, no matter what's going on, you'll get through it, won't you? I'm sure you've all been there, you know what that feels like. Making sure you give the eye contact. We talked about eye contact, how important that is. I want you really to try and practice that. Overcome your nerves. Remember we talked about channeling your nerves. Think about the greatest entertainers. I don't know who all your favourite groups are these days. One Direction. Anybody like One Direction? I heard them the way down in the car. No, they look disaster. They're not good. They're not good. Okay, who's good? Who's good at the minute? Who's your favourite group? Who did you say? Westlife. Is that a joke? Yeah. Okay, so think about those guys and get up to the floor. They're all nervous. What they do is channel their nerves into adrenaline to make their performance that much edgier. Think like that. You're not just normally nervous, but control the nerves. Be positive. Try and use some positive language is important as well. Try and make sure that everything is positive. believe that that's the way you feel. And your voice is the best way to do that. Stand tall, so remember your presentation. Remember when you walk into an interview room, you sit in a chair, don't slouch. In fact, you should lean forward slightly because that comes across as being enthusiastic and ready to do your best. Structure the presentation, what's wrong with that very quickly make sure that your presentation makes sense. So it has an opening, has a middle, and has an end in a kind of logical order. Remember the 2 P's, prepare and practice. So the don'ts, try not to rush through it. Try and pace yourself. Think about the time that it's going to take. How can you make sure that if somebody, people say to me all the time, can you come and talk for 10 minutes? Today I think I had an hour and 15 minutes. How do you actually know how long that's going to take? What would help you to actually gauge that? Yes, keeping an eye on the clock. You'll see me flipping at the watch. What else? Think about it before you arrive. How do you know that what you're going to say will actually take 10 minutes or 3 minutes? What can you do to make sure that that happens? You don't overrun. Practice. So practice saying it. Even if you have to stand in front of the mirror, like an idiot, probably close the door, don't let anyone see you doing it. But even if you have to stand in front of the mirror and practice, time yourself so that you don't run over. Because you could lose, you could just get it. Sometimes a very strict timing says, right, that's it. And actually, you may not have got to your main message and you've run out of time. So it's really, really important, especially when you have a short time, to make sure that what you're going to say doesn't overrun the time that's allocated. We have people, who are going in front of our executive board up in Danske Bank head office, in front of the CEO, and they have to go in there in 10 minutes, and if they don't say what they have to say in 10 minutes and get a decision, then they just cut them off and say, right, that's it, you have to wait to the next meeting. They've lost their opportunity. So think about the timing. Don't use jargon. What do I mean by that? Slang, yeah? What did you say, Rich? Okay, so jargon is, so if I came to you today and I was talking about banking and opening a bank account, what would switch you off if I started talking about technical terms of banking and, using acronyms, so 3 letters stand for something else? You wouldn't really get what I was saying. I would lose you because the message that I was delivering would be to an audience that wasn't appropriate. So if I start talking about terminology that's to do with banking and you're not in banking, you'll switch off. That's what jargon is. So you'll maybe go into, you young ones are probably all well up to speed with IT, but if you go into buy a computer in the likes of one of the big computer shops, sometimes people talk in jargon, don't they? They talk about megabytes and gigabytes and memory store amounts, or if you go to buy a car and they start talking about miles per gallon and how many times the wheel turns, and that can switch people off because you're talking in a language that they don't understand. So don't use jargon. Try and keep the language simple, especially for someone who doesn't know about the topic that you're talking about. Don't mumble, so speak clearly. Don't talk to the wall, that's kind of fairly obvious. Talk to your audience, maybe eye contact is sort of ally. Don't let your nerves take over. If you feel that you're getting nervous, you can't get the words out, just pause for a moment. And then start again. Gather yourself, as I say. Don't walk around too much. I am doing that today because it's such a big room. But if you're in a small room, it's kind of don't pace backwards and forwards at the front of the room. If you're standing in one spot, stand in the one spot and speak to everyone. If you can make eye contact without moving about too much. I don't think you should stand like a statue either because I think that walking about creates a wee bit of energy in the room. So I quite like that approach. Don't slouch and don't stand with your hands in your pockets. Boys have a tendency to do that, don't they? Stand there with their hands. This looks too relaxed. It looks as if you're not really bothered. So don't slouch, stand straight, shoulders back. And don't stand with your back to the audience if you can avoid it. If you're right on the picture, sometimes you have to. But the eye contact again is really important. And don't wing it, because you won't feel prepared, you won't feel confident, you'll be very nervous. Whereas if you do prepare and you practice, then you'll be as confident as you can be, and your nerves will not control you. I'm just going to go over this very quickly. grabs people's attention and they sit up and listen. If it's like a headline, or something shocking, or it's something that is really surprising, something that's really interesting, maybe a wee story or something from your own personal experience that actually people are interested in, because people are interested in people. But it has to be relevant to what you're talking about. The story or personal experience has to be relevant. So for example, if you were trying to, if I was trying to sell internet banking, I would say something in my opener, I would say something, how many times have you forgotten to transfer money to cover a payment and you haven't remembered till 10 o'clock at night? Because then I would say, well, I have the answer for people like that, that's very convenient, that will actually help you to make sure that you're covered and your direct debit doesn't get returned. And it's internet banking. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, 24 hours a day, and you don't even actually have to go to a branch and ask someone to do something for you. So it's attention grabbing in relation to the topic that you're talking about. It's important then that you have your content in the middle bit, main bit if you like, in a logical order. So if there's a logical order to it, then make sure it's in that order. Don't jump about all over the place. Make sure that it makes sense. And make sure that you deliver that in an enthusiastic way. And then at the end, it's usually good just to summarise the main points. So if you have a short space of time, you haven't got a chance to go into any great detail, but the summary should be, so summarising the main points of what you talked about, so that's the last thing that people have heard coming from your mouth. So actually saying, for example, if I use internet banking, so you can see how this would make your life much easier by actually logging on, using the app, and getting out your banking done while sitting on your sofa. So summarising the main points of the message that you're trying to convey. Make sure that the ending is strong, make sure that it's positive, and make sure that you can maintain that level of enthusiasm throughout. So the content has to be delivered in an enthusiastic way. I'm not really going to talk about visual aids, but you can see how pictures actually help to create the image and they'll make it a bit more interesting. So you're all used to whether you put PowerPoint presentations together. That's one of my favourite bits, looking through the pictures that match the words that I'm going to say. And I hope you'll agree that if I had just had words on there this morning, that it wouldn't have been quite as interesting for you. I think I'm a visual person and I like visuals, so I think pictures really help. Whether it's drawing from a flip chart or whether it's a bit more sophisticated by finding the picture on the internet, then that's up to you. And then we've already talked about timing. So if you're going to have to give an exercise to do which involves timing, then make sure you run through it and you time it so that you don't run out of time. Okay? Make sure that you prepare, especially if you go to an external venue. If you're all involved in a project like that, I'm not sure where that's going to happen, whether that's happening on campus or whether it's happening in another venue somewhere maybe. But make sure you find out these things before you go. How long does it take you to get there? What is that's kind of me. I know you're going to have an exercise to do. Gabriel, I think, is coming down at 12, and he's going to explain what the exercise is. What I'm going to do is hand out my workbooks, and you don't have a wee look at those in order to start preparing for what you're going to have to do next, as well as your lunch. Yes, and
all right. So, this is what's right. Your challenge is on the table at the back, there are 12 products. Don't look at them yet. There are 12 products. Okay? There's one per team. Tell you how you get a hold of a product. So in your group, on the table that you're currently at, you're going to have to pitch your chosen product after lunch. But you only have the time to eat your lunch and do the work on that space of a half hour. So you have to do it all over lunch. Okay? Then after lunch, you'll have 3 minutes, and you'll get flip chart paper, you'll get 3 sheets maximum, and pens and all here. Okay? Every team member has to contribute to the pitch. entirely up to you. Helen is the independent judge. Okay? This is what you should include in your pitch. You have to describe your product. What uses does it have beyond what it's supposed to do? Alright? It could be a toothbrush. What else could it do other than brush your teeth? How much are you going to sell it for? Who are you going to sell it to? Who's going to be your customer? How are you going to market it? And why should your group win? Alright? Some hints, draw from all this. Some hints, do's and don'ts. Keep it concise. Keep it understandable. Alright? You know your audience. This is your audience. So tailor it to the audience. Be specific. Don't be vague. Okay? Don't be compelling and compassionate. Alright? Sell it. Sell it to us. Okay? I'll tell you there is a price at the end. Right. There's 12 products on the table across the back. Each group choose one runner. Now, choose a runner. Don't choose a runner. The runner stand up. The runner stand up. The runner stand up.
Cool,
Just choose
Hold on a second. Runners up here. Runners up here.
I'm just going to walk. You feel the one. Hey, Tracy. You might want to get out of the way.
Right, hold on, right. Somebody from every group here. Yes? Okay.
snap back in the middle.
What do you have for your runner? Just sorry for the latest arrivals for please.
Why are you participating or not? No, no. Are you participating in the rock pitch or not? Yes? No?
Yes, they are.
Right, we need a runner. Somebody to be a runner from this group.
Hold on.
You can choose one product from the 12. Okay? Take it back to your table. Lunch then starts. So it's 12:15. Count from then. Quarter to 1. Listen. You have to then. Quarter to 1. You get flip out the chart paper here, pens here, maximum 3 pages, and then we'll start randomly to choose table who goes first. Okay? Brilliant. At quarter to 1.
Half an hour.
Preparation and lunch. All you can play in I put the instructions back up on the board. Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Jump, CD! What? I love it. I picked up a loop.
Right, folks, you can have yourself close to the back.
We did wrap up here.
We have a very fashionable piece of underwear, it is junk in the trunk. They are 100% organic cotton, they make you feel fantastic, and if you love your bottom, you'll love our cotton.
They come in various sizes and colours, and they improve the overall size for all you men out there. It's made from recycled packaging and it's a perfect balance present for that special someone. One is $2.99 and two is £10.
Use a duster. You can use them as a duster when they are worn, and a hat, sweatband, with the band. That can be the waistband can be cut off and used as sweatbands when they get worn or out.
Well, they have an annual fashion show for a charity for marketing,
and they also have a bowl on the inside where you can put in a little heat pack for the winter. And we think we should win because does anyone want to come up here and advertise this? Okay, alright girls, thank you.
Good morning, we are CNC. This is Ryan, Jason, John, and I'm John. Today our business is cow cubes, and Ryan will explain to you what it is.
Do you have a smelly jar or tractor?
Yep.
Are you stressed at college?
Yep.
Are you maybe both?
Yep.
Do you get bored in college?
Yep.
Do you own a cow or know a cow that needs a bit of doing up?
Yep.
Do you feel the need for something to help you quit smoking?
Yep.
We have the answer.
Our dice, which God has in hands, they are scented car dice or tractor dice, which helps the smell in your tractor or car. They're double stress cubes when you get a little down or stressed. And also this helps with your smoking, takes your mind off smoking. And then you can also use them to play a game with dice. Alright. Anyone want a sample of the smell of them? They're lovely.
Find us at cowcubes.com, Blackheart North, and any supermarket online.
The reason why we should win, I believe, is because we're the most creative, the most passionate about our business, and just our slogan is the best. We have the answer. We have the answer for most things here with these cow cubes. Just on general, we should win.
So if you're bored, stressed, or have a smelly tractor or a car, we have the answer.
Table 2.